Hello! I just wanted to very quickly come here and say welcome. It's the 29th of July, which means that it is August equinox, no, autumn equinox time, because we finished the previous round and we surpassed our previous April record, basically read more than the last equivalent month. So we get to start 3 days earlier. However, I've been reading this all day because I had a book club and I was super behind and I didn't finish this book in time. So I did actually start the readathon by reading like over 200 pages because I had that much left of it. But it was not for the readathon, so it doesn't technically count. But I wanted to quickly hop on and just say hello. Very excited. I've been so slumpy in July, so I feel like hopefully this is gonna get me back into reading. I need to update my counter for the points. I need to set up my bullet journal. I need to do a lot of things. So I'll take you along, see how things are. Yeah, let's do this. Hello, I have an update for you. Actually, it is the 1st of August, so technically this is when we would really be starting things. Happy readathon again. On Sunday, however, I did a lot of reading because we've decided to go for this little adventure outside of Edinburgh and do a little walk. Very beautiful, was a really good outing, distracted me and was good for my mental health in general. And it was also a little bit over an hour drive away and obviously the same amount going back. So we started listening to an audiobook because this is my audiobook prompt. The book is Yellowface. And so we listened going there, and then Logan actually also got really into it. So we continued listening to it in portions of the actual walk when there's no people around, because I didn't want to be obnoxious and listen to it when people are around. Plus, the main character says some really unhinged and uncomfortable things, and I didn't want people to like take this out of context as well. Anyway, it's just not a good... We didn't have my earphones, which is why it was like played out loud. Anyway, and then we listened on the way back. So overall, we listened to quite a lot of it. And then yesterday I managed to finish this. So I'm still not too sure what I'm actually like rating it, because this is a hard book to rate because it almost feels too personal to the author. And instead of being a big commentary on the publishing industry, it was actually a little bit more focused on social media, which I did think was pretty on point. And there are a lot of good points in the whole book, and I thought a lot of things worked. I do think some things felt almost tiny bit flat. It was like we almost made a good like nuance point, but then stopped short and stayed on a kind of safer, more satirical, more exaggerated side of things sometimes. But the whole thing is about two good friends, and one of them passes away and is already quite an established author. The other one is not, and has a lot of resentment and a lot of jealousy. And when the friend passes away, she's actually present there and steals the manuscript that no one really knows about, and then goes to editing and goes to typing it out, and by the end of that feels like they also have quote-unquote an obligation to let this work go out in the public eye, but because of the edits also feel entitled to be an author. But instead of telling people that it is someone else's work. They just omit that part. And it's about the madness that comes after that, and how much you can get away with, and how much what happens when there's like a witch hunt on the internet. And yeah, so that's the premise of it. I thought there was a lot of good conversation pieces there. Obviously this main character is insufferably unaware also. I feel like it works on a level that the main character doesn't think that they're the villain. I also thought that it was nicely done that the main character also had some points that you could kind of like understand where their reasoning was coming from, like the money point and the class point, that I really wish we explored so much more. This is something that I've always said, and it's whenever we're talking about multiple variables on diversity, I feel like class is overlooked so much. And maybe this is me coming from like a much poorer country and then living in the West. Is just something that I wish was discussed more, and I feel like this was presented, but it was presented in a way that we're all like, it's pointed out by the main character, who is not a good person to present a good point, because a lot of their other points are completely wrong. So it's a bit of a shame, because it almost negates the point, even though it is brought up. It's brought up through a character that you are disliking, the character that is despicable in many ways, misguided in many others. So it almost negates the point, and it's a fair point. And I wish that it almost does it a disservice, and it almost seems like the author does not think that this is a topic worth talking about, which is a bit frustrating. But anyway, there's some really good points brought out about this and some other stuff by Cindy, if you've seen their video. I think it is worth a watch. There's so much that a book can actually address about the publishing, and then drag them through like all of these things that could be, you know, damaging whilst being traditionally published. Like, realistically, obviously it has to go through the editors and the publishing house, and you're not gonna get the tea I think you're maybe expecting it. Like, that being said, I really couldn't put it down. It was like watching an accident about to happen, and you're just rooted in place, just watching it be set aflame. The main character just kept digging themselves deeper and deeper into this hole, and it was very maddening. You just wanted to like give a little shake to this main character and have a little talk. What I also think it did really well, that I've not really seen people talk, but I've not really watched that many people talk about it, but anyway, was the aspect of loneliness. That was also very prominent, and I think from both sides, Athena's and the main characters, because it's more nuanced, and I like nuance in any form that I can get. Anyway, so I've not ran it through Compile yet, but I do anticipate it being a 4-star. I think the intrigue is gonna be 10 out of 10. I did also enjoy the run. So that's Yellowface, and that's the first book that I finished for this. And then, check me out, it's only the 1st of August and I'm already, I want to say, I'm probably somewhere here in my next read, which is Writers and Lovers. And so quite the opposite of this, despite it being very similar shade. I came in expecting very little of this. I've heard close to none people speak about this. I have seen it somewhere recommended by someone, and they described it in a way that intrigued me, and that's how I got it. I do know that it was someone's recommendation. I'm so sorry, I can't remember who. It was a video, but I don't know who. But other than that, I've not seen anyone speak about it, and since then I actually kind of forgot what was that intrigued me about it. I picked it up with knowing that it is about love, but it's more also about struggles. What I kind of forgot, I guess, is the grief element of this. So, as someone who's currently grieving, it was an interesting choice of me. Actually, like, some lines were very hard-hitting. You can tell that this author wrote about what, or if not, then it's very well fabricated, but it feels like the author wrote from personal experience. Because, oof, some of those grief lines really hit. But it is about a 31-year-old woman who is also an aspiring writer, so I clearly have a little bit of a theme here going. It's about finding your footing and seeing people around you give up. which is kind of different from Yellow Phase because this was, you know, being surrounded by people who are succeeding but you're not, and this one's being surrounded by people who are actually demotivating you by giving up on the dream that you also have and then making you feel like maybe there is no point. Also getting a lot of rejections and working a waitressing job, which also hits really close to home because I did used to waiter for a little bit before going into HR and then going to a university school office. It was a whole thing. Anyway, just being lost in a lot of things and over everything else, grieving the loss of your mother. And oh yeah, there are parts of the book that are just like very casual and very like there's not much happening, but you're just kind of living through this life with her, and she meets two people and she starts dating two different people, and one is a famous author, or semi low-key famous, I guess, with two kids, who also has lost his wife, so he's also kind of grieving. And she also really likes the kids, and everything is just kind of connecting. And then the other one is a little bit more adventurous, but also an aspiring writer or poet or something like that. Anyway, arts. And even though parts of it I should probably be kind of thoroughly bored by, I really am not. I am enjoying this book just much more than I thought. I think the writing is quite nice. Some of the lines again are quite hard-hitting while simultaneously being such an easy book to read. It's a very... There's some cringe bits like most of the books have, but I feel like it's on the lower end compared to the usual level I get with this type of setup. Again, it's a lot about loneliness and financial struggle, and and the mendacity of it all, and I'm just having a really good time, but it's such a slow book, like I don't know how else to explain it. There's not much that happens. So whilst I don't really know how to explain the book, I'm like having a good time, which again, very unexpected. I don't know, I didn't necessarily think I'm gonna dislike this, but I thought it's just gonna be like okay, and I'm finding a couple of like moments just, I don't know, it's like this book is keeping me company is the best way that I can explain it. It's like reading from a friend's perspective, I guess, whilst also there's a lot of things that I can't relate to this because it's like obviously like two different people and America and stuff, but she's also going through a lot of like health checkups. So that is definitely something I'm relating to, and like the way that the doctors treat you and the way that they use certain language that makes you feel really weird. Just little bits that I wasn't expecting. So overall, just basically having a really good time because though I was, you know, with my critic about this book, it still kept my attention, and I think it is a really good read. This one is seeming to also be keeping me reading, and I think I'm definitely going to be finishing this today, and we're going to be already 2 books in, which is fantastic because, as I said, I do have a little trip for work next week, and I don't anticipate having a lot of reading time, so we do kind of have to read for 2 weeks this week, basically. But I'm about to log on to actually do some kicking off the readathon sprints with you over on YouTube, so I better get going on that. But very quickly though, I do actually want to show you my August setup because that's what I did yesterday. I'm also just drowning in to-dos, which is very scary because well, not scary, it's very overwhelming. I'm very behind like the ASMR room I don't even want to think about. But this is the Aurelium page setup, which I thought it was pretty cute. I obviously need to still update this, but I've not, yeah, I still need to get there. Maybe I'll do it during the first sprint. Then I have, normally I don't have these spreads, I've decided against them, but because August is going to be so incredibly busy, I've just thought I'll do like a little calendar spread as well with like nothing. This is the painkiller tracker, which really helped me last month because I thought that I was like so over the limit, but I actually accidentally, or maybe intuitively, kind of like okay and stopped. Anyway, doesn't matter. And I have some like key goals or tasks for the next day spread, and then lastly we have the trackers. So I thought I'll quickly show you these, and then okay, I gotta go because now I'm gonna, yeah, bye. My phone just vibrated in my ass. Look at the bloody state of me. This is, you can't tell, but it has been actually like, I don't even know how many days. 4? 5? I don't know what I don't know how time works anymore. Anyway, I have entered full-blown goblin mode, and every waking hour that I was not working for my like daytime job, I was editing this bloody ASMR video because I just really struggled with this one. And part of me also thinks that it's gonna be a little bit of a flop just in general, because I don't know how many people really want to like put on like a darker atmospheric kind of ASMR room for chilling. Like, I don't know, this is gonna be like people's go-to, so I didn't want to spend as much time on it, but I ended up spending even more time on this than other ones as well. It's just because it was just very challenging for many reasons that I don't want to even get into. But it is like 7 o'clock on a Friday. I am on day 2 of a migraine. Fantastic stuff. Many emotions in general, and I just feel so goblin-y. But I've clicked export on this bloody video, and even though logically, you know, I wish that I just didn't spend so much time on it, I'm glad that it's actually like my laptop halfway through started really struggling, so that didn't help the matters, and I couldn't replay it properly to like check a couple of things because it would just crash. Like, it just crashes. So, however, I'm at the point where it's like, if it's not working, I don't care. Like, if something's not quite aligned to what I want it to be, I don't care. It's going up, it's fine. Which is funny, because you think that if I spend so much time on it already, you think that I would want to adjust the little tweaks so it's like better. I don't. But I do really hope that you enjoy it and that it actually is okay. I don't know, I guess we'll see. It's already been like an hour maybe, and it's only at 15% exported. So it's gonna be running for a while. I do feel like I'm exiting kind of a fever dream of editing and being so nitpicky. I just feel like I'm like, I don't know. I've opened the window in my mind and I'm like, oh my god, there's fresh air. Like, I did actually also open the window, so it might be that. But I feel like I've done my chore and my reward is a canoe. No, but my actual reward is that I'm gonna go and have a shower, because I feel like I need to exit this super goblin mode and enter a semi-goblin mode, because I'm still like not feeling well. So I don't know if today is just gonna be like, I'm maybe just gonna watch Heartstopper, because the season 2 came out and it's cute, and I maybe wanna just like chill and watch that and update you on the reading, because I also don't remember where I was last time. I'm pretty sure I said that I was reading this and that I was like enjoying it, and I still did. I have finished it since. I would say it's probably like 3.54 stars. It was quite like repetitive, but it was very chill and easy to listen to. Complicated feelings, well, not complicated, this was not complicated enough to have complicated feelings about, but I have, like, I'm in two minds about the ending, because on one hand I like the possibility of that being the ending, and then on the other hand I feel like maybe it's too neat. I don't know. But as I mentioned, there's a lot about grief, which was probably my favorite part of this, and it was just kind of easy to listen to. And the writing was actually quite decent. Do I think I will remember it for a long time? Not necessarily, but I did enjoy my time with it. So I very briefly started on Fourth Wing. I listened to a single chapter, but it was like 36 pages, so it was, you know, a little bit. And absolutely really don't like the narrator for the audiobook. I'm really sorry. They just add so much like angst and drama in the narrating when I feel like it makes it cringe. So I'm swapping to a physical copy, which I don't have. So I got myself a Kindle book instead, because I will be getting the Fairyloot one and I don't love having duplicates. So I'm waiting for my physical one, but it's not gonna be here until later. So I got myself a Kindle and I'm gonna be returning the audiobook. I think that's fair. Just because I think if I continue listening to an audiobook, it's gonna like push down a whole ass star, because I just think it's read so angsty for like no reason. It just makes it like everything is like this, and then she said this and that, and then the blah blah blah, and it was just like, I just want to read it in a kind of more, I know people who actually speak like that matter rather than a dramatic reading. So for me personally, it wouldn't be a book that I would recommend an audiobook for. However, Yellowface was a brilliant production for that. And I'm also halfway through Void, which is the short story in the Amazon sci-fi collection. And so far it's like I didn't know anything about this, and because I wanted to do that on purpose, but to be very brief about it, because again I don't want to spoil it, but it's basically a murder mystery in a spaceship, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun. So those two are my current reads, and I'm pretty happy with my progress so far, even though actually not actually read that much because I've been just working on this ASMR room. So and then lastly, but absolutely not leastly, words, I would like to introduce you to our communal, I don't know, that sounds weird, I want to introduce you to Peaches. Also finished Yellowface. I hope it was interesting for you. The new folk. This is Slippy, our kind of, I don't know if you can guess what it will be. It's stupid. Logan. Incognito. That is cheeked up. I don't know. This is just, it makes me very happy. Is it silly? Yes. If you join me on my live stream on the 1st of August, I hope you enjoy the hangout. But we have created something together. Well, I mainly created it. But it is our creation in spirit, and it will be one of yours in general, because I'm gonna do a giveaway for this because I just thought it would be fun. But this right here is Peaches. Peaches is a frog that's cheeked up. Go get my, it's gonna I wonder if it's gonna get me demonetized. That would be hilarious. But this is Peaches, head for scale. I can't wait to send it to one of you so we can expand our froggy friend circle and our frog bog lore. I might be making more, I don't know, but if you do want to win this, I will leave, I think, a Google sheet down below, like not a Google sheet, sorry, in which I probably will just ask you to tell me how to contact you, and then I'm gonna put it in the random generator and pick a winner that way, because it gives me like a spreadsheet, and then I'll use that number. Please, please, please don't put any personal information in that apart from a username that I can get in touch with you through. I am happy to send this in anywhere in the world as long as I can actually send it there. So as long as Royal Mail ships to your country, I will do my best to ship it there. I don't like the butts just make everything funny. There are just a couple of rules. Rule number 1, you are 18 or over, are okay to give me a shipping address. Rule number 2 is the account you're leaving for me has to be public so I can actually DM you. Otherwise, I cannot reach you. And rule number 3, please be subscribed to my channel. It's not actually a rule, but if you are not subscribed to my channel, it'd mean a lot if you did. But also, thank you very much for just being here in general. I appreciate you a lot. And then I've also been working on another thing that I'm crocheting because we are in our demonology era in the Aurelium Academy. So I wanted to crochet something demonology-wise. However, I vastly underestimated how much yarn I will actually need, so I had to stop and order more to continue. So I'm gonna show you what I have so far, but it will mean nothing to you because it just won't look like anything. Actually, if anything, it will look like a certain body part, which it isn't, but I mean, it could also be an onion, but it could also be a boob. So I have this, and then I have this, and then I literally ran out of yarn of this color. This is just a tail to sew it in. So I mean, this could be some sort of hat. It is a project of like 2 colors, so I can continue a little bit on a different thing, however. So it's not quite finished here, but you can kind of see this. So this is gonna give you maybe a little bit of a better idea. I don't know when the yarn is gonna arrive. It's not gonna take too long, so I will be getting it in time to finish this in August. However, I should be away next week for work, which I am slightly terrified of because my health is just not cooperating, so we love that for myself. But anyway, I'm gonna go put this away and also or order, I don't know, some food.
I was gonna suggest about the ordering.
You gave me such a fucking fright. Do not perceive me. I feel like this is the first time when in the middle of the readathon there's something happening that is, I don't even feel like I'm in a readathon month. I really need to fix that. It is currently the day that you're hopefully watching this, or the day that I hopefully published it rather, which is the 14th. It's almost halfway. Wow, this is not, it's not great. It is not great for that. However, progress-wise, it's not too bad, but I just totally feel out of it. I think I'm gonna really try and get back in it mentally. We have Patreon sprints tonight, which the whole point of them is to get back into it, although I'll probably be editing a lot. However, so what's been going on, you may ask? Well, what has really been to the detriment of my reading time is Baldur's Gate coming out. I mean, you know, I created this world and it's very reminiscent of D&D. It's very far from D&D, but it's also kind of like towards that. My most anticipated game came out and I was like, no, I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna wait until next month to get in it. And then I had a very bad day and I turned it on and I was like, I'll just play a little bit. And that a little bit turned into a lot, and it's been amazing though. I highly recommend the game, but not great for reading, I'll say. But is that we made our Aurelium characters. I made Davantia, he made Jax, and we even made sure that he has a frog. We can't name the frog, which is tragic, but it's a familiar, so it's fine. And then I spent the previous weekend designing bookmarks for the Patreon tier, so that also was a big part of the lack of reading in that end. More importantly, I was packing and getting ready to go for a work trip on Monday, and then that was the whole thing. The whole week was the work trip. We went to Bath, and I had zero time to read anything, even though we were working during the day, during some moments, and then also just socializing. There was a lot of socializing, and there was like I didn't even check my socials. I was just completely off the grid, I guess, kind of. or at least I wasn't replying to people because I was just like, there were so many people that I had to like talk to, and they were lovely, and some of them I met for the first time in person, and it was a really good time, and it was really, really sweet. I mean, there was bad times because of health, but overall it was a success, I'd say. So I flew off on the 8th. We had a fancy dinner, and because we were in Bath, we obviously went to see the Baths. I don't know why it didn't quite click to me that that's what the town is called for. They have this very beautiful cathedral like right next to it. I stayed for 5 days there, so it was quite a long and somewhat tiresome journey. We went to the Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong event, and it was really lovely. She seems like a really nice person. I've not read this, but I definitely want to read it. Like, it jumped up in my TBR as it happens during the events, because I was like, oh, that sounds good. And then I came back this weekend, and I still had to do socializing, and then yesterday was the first day that I didn't have to do that, and I just played Baldur's Gate. Not gonna lie, I just played Baldur's Gate. So, and I'm still very much recovering from all the socializing. I think I really need to charge my battery, like my social battery, and I feel like I've been completely like just off. It was just not great for the readathon. It was great in general, but not great for the readathon. I feel like I have so many messages to answer, so many DMs to check. It's just been a lot, but I'm still trying to recharge from there. So I feel like this vlog is also quite like short, but in reality a lot has happened. It's just not been a great time reading wise, which I feel like is to be expected, because I knew that's gonna happen. That's why I kind of pushed the first week, which thankfully we did get quite far. So if you are a visual learner, this is how our progress currently looks like, and it's not looking too badly. I am currently, I think, like 70 pages into Fourth Wing, which is not too bad considering I didn't have pretty much any time to read. It's reading pretty easy. I do not have a significant opinion to offer you so far. There's definitely parts that are like a bit you know, I don't know how to feel about that, but it's nothing great. It's nothing great. It's nothing awful yet. I'm not extremely hooked, but I'm also just like very happy to continue. So literally no opinion so far. I will get back to you about that later. I still have to read One Piece, 2 volumes, and then this is not quite correct. I'm a little bit further with Void. I literally have like the very few pages left. So I'm gonna get that done very quickly. So yeah, Star Force. So I have, you know, some manga and some comics. And then Sea of Tranquility and Fourth Wing are the bigger pieces from the remaining things. But we still have half a month. That's fine. The Implinks, on the other hand, would be the most like dense book to read, which is The Witch King. But it is not required. So we're gonna try and prioritize the other stuff. I hope we can get a little bit more intense on the readathon side of things. We're gonna have our all-nighter next weekend, so I think it's like 19th, 20th. Gonna do some sprints here. I hope you have a chance to come and join me, but I hope it's been going well. Please let me know. I would love to hear in the comments. I also wanted to put this vlog out earlier, but honestly this week I would have 0 content, so maybe it's for the best that it turned out that I couldn't. I didn't edit it in time because I was trying to pack and like get ready for the flights. Excited for the next week. Hope you're doing well. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!